Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Guys, I want to talk about a story that broke yesterday out of Anson County, North Carolina. Shout out Anson County. Namely, the city of Polkton. Shout out Polkton. And it's involving this young lady right here. This was Miana Roach, 6 years old. Look at her. Looks happy. Like she's well taken care of. Look like a regular little girl. Full of life. Well, all that means nothing now because she's dead, ladies and gentlemen. At the hands of her father, who there is no picture of, supposedly during a domestic incident yesterday, this guy physically, by force, took his daughter out of the house after arguing with the mom and drove off. For some odd reason, later on down the line, he winds up shooting this little girl in the head in the car, being chased by police, and drives around with the dead body in the car until he crashes out and then tries to self-delete himself with the same said weapon. I don't know what's going on with these people out here, but I mean, something got to change for real. I mean, it's scary. I got a 9-year-old daughter. I think about this every day. I'm scared she will run into a lunatic, you know, or a man child that throws a man tantrum and all be damned, including her. Take a look at this story. I'm at a loss for words in this.
With that breaking news from Anson County, a young girl is dead and a man is in critical condition after attempted murder-suicide in Anson County. The State Bureau of Investigations is looking into what led to all of this. And Queen City News reporter Jen Cardone live on the scene at the Polkton Police Department this afternoon. Jen, officials tell us everything began at a home in that town.
That's right, Brian. Officials say that it started with a domestic dispute. This happened many hours ago, and then a few hours later, that's when the chase happened.
Anson County Sheriff Scott Howell says they responded to a call and a parent took his own biological child, then left the home. He tells us deputies were able to contact him on the phone and had agreed to meet with him. Howell says he never showed up when he said he would. There was a bolo for the car he was driving. An Anson County Sheriff's deputy spotted that car and attempted to make a stop. This led to a chase a little after 8 o'clock this morning that ended with the car crashing here along Little Creek Road. Hal says emotions are always running high in these types of situations.
You also have to respect that if the biological parent has custody of that child with him, there's not a lot that you can do as far as taking him away without some type of custody order papers in effect that shows that law enforcement can do that.
Polkton Police Chief Tim Hutchinson says that chase lasted about 10 minutes, ending on this curve here on Little Creek Road. Hutchinson says chases are not normal, but they wanted to be able to safely rescue the girl.
It's not something you want to deal with, but I mean, we tried everything we could to save that child, and at the end of the day, there's nothing we could have done.
Now, Hutchinson tells us that the girl was only 6 years old. Officials say that she had been shot in the head and that this man had turned a gun on himself. Right now, he's in critical condition, and officials here say that no shots were fired during that chase. Reporting live in Polkton, Jen Cardone, Queen City News.
Breaking news on that tragedy out of Anson County. We now have a timeline of the disturbing chain of events that ended yesterday morning with a 6-year-old girl shot dead. Police say her own father pulled the trigger before turning the gun on himself in a domestic violence incident. Investigators say Michael Roach shot and killed Miana Roach before he led deputies on a high-speed chase. After crashing his SUV, detectives say Roach tried to take his own life. Queen City News reporter Jen Cardone live at the Polkton Police Department for us this afternoon. And Jen, just a heartbreaking timeline here of this events that unfolded.
It really is, Brian. And today from officials at the police department, we were able to get a little bit of a better understanding what happened during that domestic violence call earlier in the morning and then led to that chase with police. So police say when the girl's mom called for help early Monday morning, Roach had brandished a firearm and took the girl, got in a vehicle and then left. Between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning, we're told that some family members talked to the girl and told police that she was alive and well. Well, Police Chief Tim Hutchinson from Polkton Police says around 8 o'clock, Roach called a family member and told her he had hurt the child. That's when deputies spotted the car. They tried to pull Roach over, but then they say he sped away.
At the time of the pursuit, we had knowledge that the child was deceased. So at that time, it turned in from a domestic situation in our eyes to catching a murder. We couldn't help what happened prior to us getting involved with it, and we may never know all the answers.
Now, I did speak with Mianna's mother, who shared the pictures you're now looking at on your screen. She tells us she's not ready to speak with us quite yet, but she did ask me to share, to be aware of the red flags in a situation. Hutchinson did tell us that the couple had been a couple at one point, but had been broken up and was living together. Reporting live in Polkton, Jen Cardone, Queen City News.
That's the story made this young lady, Mianna Roach, rest in peace, 6 years old, and had to succumb to such abuse. You think about this guy shot this girl in the head in a car, his own baby, while he was driving. Said he called back and said, hey, I hurt the baby. Why'd you do that? She's 6 years old. Why'd you do that? Your own fucking seed. And you do this to her because you were in a fit of rage, having a man tantrum. And nothing else matters in the world except your fucking feelings. I'm going to tell you something. Anytime you see stuff like this, and it's a spike in this type of domestic violence, people eating their own kids alive, doing crazy stuff, people disappearing, and just a whole bunch of senseless murders, is because you got a bunch of men that have a lot of feminine energy in them. I'm being serious. Look at all these guys fighting women. We know we can easily take a woman. Why are you punching on her for? Why? Because you match the same emotional energy. That's the feminine aspect. You match it and take it overboard. You never win when you go into an emotional battle with any woman, whether she's yours or not. We learn this at a young age. We're told to control our emotions as best we can. And if we can't, we're taught this is what can and will go wrong. And if it does, you'll be by yourself and can't nobody protect you. One of the things about men that make us who we are, especially when we're productive and trying to do right out here in the world and we want to survive, one of our survival instincts is our rationale. Nowadays, you don't even see that shit. You don't. We got a bunch of feral people running around here, a bunch of breeders. We ain't got moms and dads. We got a bunch of breeders, motherfuckers that discovered the joys of sex and just pushed it all the way to the end of the table, the envelope to the end of the table. Now we got a bunch of babies around here and motherfuckers ain't got no sense on how to raise them or cared when they was doing what they was doing in their lustful acts in which they was committing. And you think about that. A 6-year-old baby is gone. We don't know what she could have been, how she could have contributed to society, how she could have changed the world. That's the thing. Nowadays, when we was younger, girls was like hovered over and protected because everybody know what can go wrong if you have a baby too early and don't know nothing about life, or you meet a knucklehead dude like this that just sees you with his eyes and not with his heart. Man, the world's fucked off. Look at this right here. Let's jump on this. Look at this right here. Says, neighbors witnessed the moments when the police caught up to a man who authorities said kidnapped his own 6-year-old daughter from her home on West Street in Polkton around 3 a.m. Monday morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, you taking a 6-year-old child, most likely out of her bed because she was sleeping. For what? For what? 3 in the morning. You see this a lot, man. These people had these kids. The kids be up all night. They arguing and doing stupid stuff, always about them. And the kids are just a part of it. Think about it. She must have been in her bed sleep, getting ready for daycare or school or whatever she was in. Now this motherfucker got problems and make his problems her problems. And then at the end, she paid the ultimate price when this coward motherfucker shoot himself and he don't die. He don't die. You think about that. Drunk drive, kill a whole bunch of people. They don't die. The fool is never the one that dies that starts this shit. What you think about that? There are people that are so fucking silly and self-absorbed in their own silliness out here when they doing stuff in their own childness, but other people pay the price? Seriously, other people pay the price. There's no excuse for what he did and why he did it. That baby ain't in a relationship with you to where you got to do that to a child. I told you before. Under no circumstance, especially a little girl, the safest places she can be is with her parents, mainly her father. And now we seeing all kind of stuff with dads doing stuff to the ones they supposed to protect. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Look, this is what the police officer say. Several hours after the 3 a.m. kidnapping, an Anson County deputy working traffic near a school spotted the SUV, but the driver refused to stop which triggered the chase. Now, the girl was already dead in the car because he called somebody, I hurt the baby. Called his people. Dumb shit. During the pursuit, this is the officer talking, quote, during the pursuit, myself and several other officers tried to get in front of the vehicle and put out stop sticks, the start tire deflation devices to end. Man, they wrote that wrong. To end the pursuit because at that time our thing was the child's well-being. They didn't know the kid was dead in the car already. So you driving like a maniac with a child shot in the head, bleeding all over the damn place in the car. Chief Tim Hutchinson from Polkton Police said. Chief Hutchinson says the suspect ran off the road when he hit a curb driving 70 miles an hour. Hutchinson says the impact of the crash did not kill the child. Right? And all this was written yesterday. Now, the news you just see, the child was already dead. So like all this stuff, like we already know. Say we don't know what happened prior to the deputies being there at 3 in the morning until 8 this morning. We didn't even get a chance to talk to the suspect, of course. The suspect was airlifted to a Charlotte hospital in critical condition as remains there as of Monday evening. Medical examiners will perform an autopsy on a 6-year-old girl to determine her official cause of death, which was being shot in the head. But since the family of the young girl declined to be on camera interview, good. But they did say God is in control and they are watching the child's father's condition closely. They also say they are surprised by his behavior and hoping the investigation gives some clarity. It does give clarity. He's a fucking kid in the mind. He's a kid. I'm going to be honest with you. If that was my granddaughter and I knew what hospital he was in, he wouldn't wake up. Trust me, this is bullshit. Babies always bear the brunt of the punishment that's not even due to them. All they do is come here. They don't pick who their parents are, but they pay the ultimate price. It's a fucking shame. That's a cute little girl. And she's gone. For what? For fucking what? Look at that picture. Look how eerie this is. She was killed in that same vehicle that she's taking a picture throwing a peace sign. She's throwing a peace sign, but her fucking father had gunfire and battles going on in his head, and she wound up being a casualty of his war. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.